Hello, good morning po sa lahat. Good morning po sa GTNR. And then, good morning po sa mga nakikinig sa Facebook natin and then sa ating YouTube. Today is September 3, 2023. You may be wondering, wala po si Kamentong today. Ano po siya, recovering. Nawalan po siya ng voice and then he's recovering po ngayon para tuloy-tuloy po yung recovery niya. Nagkaroon po siya ng slight infection sa upper tract po niya. And then, he says na, yun nga, kaya nga niya. He says na kaya nga niya today. And then, pinipigilan siya, of course, ng wife niya. And then, tayo din, we advise him to not broadcast today. Pero we are joined, of course, with Kaado. And then, right now, we are joined with Ka Daniel. I am Ka Joshua po, no? And then, I'd ask Kaado to say hi to the audience, to see a familiar face kasi minsan ako makita, no? Kaado, please.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, mga kabansa. Ito po ang inyong lingkod, Ado, paglinawan ng maestro. At bumabati sa inyo, saan mang parte ng mundo kayo naroon. At 2 oras pong talakayan ng mga nagbabagang issue sa ating lipunan. Joshua.
Yes, okay. Umpisahan lang po natin agad, no? Kasi may ano, and I think Kaado will want to have a few minutes dun sa kanyang presentation kasi he sent me a couple of pictures, ano. Kung hindi pa ninyo alam, nag-broadcast po siya sa Katipunan Channel, Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino. And then pwede niyo po siya mapanood doon. He's teaching like like a lecture. So very informative po siya, maraming proof, maraming sources na pwede niyo i-source din, na of course legitimate. And then also let's start po. These will be starting sa mga issues po na right now. I mainly comment po sa mga issues na personally may alam po ako. And then ito po yung let's ask Daniel po to say hi din po muna, no? Ka Daniel, say hi to our audience po, no?
Hi, magandang araw po mga ating kabansa at sa lahat nanood po sa atin ngayon sa Facebook, YouTube at sa online. Sana ma-appreciate at maintindihan po ninyo sa mga ating analysis at sa mga current issues ngayon. At I'm requesting po for our audience if you could some prayers for Kamentong's full recovery. Maraming salamat po.
Yan, thank you po ka Daniel, no. So let's read some of the comments muna. Magandang umaga by Rowan Aquimado. Of course, nandito po siya lagi. Osman Muhammad Zin, good morning everyone. Good Sunday to all. Aldo Garcia, good morning comrades. Juliet Camaro, of course. And meron pong Japanese name na hindi ko po mabasa. Good morning po, Kamentong, watching from Nagoya, Japan. Wow. So nasa Japan po siya right now, no. And then Romano Quimado again. Get well soon, Kamentong. Of course, get well soon. Yun nga, earlier, iniisip po ni Kamentong na sunduin pa si Kaado kasi malapit lang po sila, no? Sa Pasig lang po sila. Nung susunduin para dun sa house daw po niya mag-broadcast. So yun, well, nagawa naman po ng paraan para makapag-rest po si Kamentong. Yun nga, ano pa siya gigil pa, no? So yun, get well soon by Osman Muhammad Sin. And thank you to Proud Pinoy for Life for $19.99. Good morning, Kaado and Ka Joshua. Get well soon, Kamentong. Yun, thank you sa mga inyong mga well wishes, no? Thank you to a rainy Sunday morning. O nga, ilang araw no malakas yung ulan. And then siguro last 2 days ago, yung pa-on-off yung ulan para may nag-switch. Well, dito sa Metro Manila, no? Para merong nag-switch ng ulan, no? Biglang lakas, biglang hina, no? Rinaldo Lazaro, magpalakas ka muna. Muna si Kamentong. Thank you. So, Hazel Eyes, get well soon, Kamentong. And Winston So, please take care of your health. We need you for the right information. Yan po, thank you po sa inyong no. Of course, yun nga, kaya hindi po siya nag-broadcast right now, no. Resting po talaga siya. Kahit palag na nga po siya, gusto po niya magsalita, no. Reynaldo Pasco Pajarito, Willie Tang, OJ Hoxon, Freud de Silva, Tenerife que estao asistindo. I don't know how to speak Spanish. I'm sorry. Steven Esteban, comment on kaadyo. Good morning. Tag te Saki. Francis Gutierrez Carmen sa Rappler yan. Yan. Dito sa sinasabi po ni Francis Gutierrez is nasa thumbnail po natin, no? Which will we be covering a little bit later, yung nawalan ng funding Rappler, no? And then Anastasia Fontanilla, greetings from Davao City. Thank you, Coronel, Graciano Coronel. Hello po, Kamestro from Rolly Rizales of UK. Ang dami natin, no? Na iba-ibang magaling kung saan-saan. Thank you po sa pagpapakinig nyo. Ayan, fresh ginger juice, sabi po ni Avin Acuña Agulo. Or Mentong po siguro to, no? Ayan, na house arrest si Mentong, sabi ni Steven Esteban. Medyo, na house arrest by his wife, no? Thank you po kay Ma'am Tix po, no? Benji Aguilar, good AM, Mentong Encanto. Okay, we can go forward with our topics, no? Yung una po, of course, itong mga topics ito from, from Jamin Meiji, no? From Mentong himself. So, gandang linggo sa inyo, ka Joshua Cado. Oh, yan. I'm asking also to have greetings for Ka Daniel, no? So, para welcome natin siya. Carlo V. EY, and then Benji Ilar. Okay. So, for those who are just joining us, Mentong is recovering for binigyan po siya antibiotic respiratory. Umuubo eh. So, yun. And then wala daw a voice. So, yung of course, wag mo na magsalita. So, tayo po yung nag-host ngayon. I'm Joshua, Joshua. Ako po yung gumagawa ng text sa GTNR and Asian Century. So, yeah, umpisa natin agad, no? Binigay po ni Mentong to discuss. And this is from Jamin. EEZ is not part of territory. So, yun yung article ng December 7, 2019. So that's notably after the arbitration. So Kado will know more about that, no? So read lang natin konti. Under the law of the sea, a distinction is made between sovereignty, yun nga and sovereign rights in terms of what powers a state may exercise in a particular maritime zone. So that's regarding to yung nangyayari sa South China Sea, na yung nasa Ayungin. Okay. The International Criminal Court decision on Thursday stating that it has no jurisdiction over the crimes against humanity complaint against Xi Jinping cleared the points in debate on what constitutes sovereign limits. And then in the ruling, ICC prosecutor, crimes allegedly do not fall within the territorial or otherwise personal jurisdiction of the ICC. So, yun nga yung natin with yung issue natin with this ICC. Well, I'm not sure kung yung distinction nga ito yung topic, yung distinction between sovereignty and sovereign rights. I'm pretty sure Kaado is more knowledgeable here kasi meron po siyang article na of course i-promote po natin ang article sa ating Asian Century ph.com, no. So I think mas maraming information doon, and if Kaado would want, he would comment a little bit later if he wants to, no, doon sa post ni Jamin Meiji. Yeah, yes,
Mamaya na
Kaado.
siguro yan.
Yeah, okay. So for
I
later.
will deal with it with more details later. Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
with more details nga, tapos in-depth po, no. So when Kaado would pag napunta na natin yung kanyang topic. So yan po yung article po niya, pwede nyo po ma-advance read, no? And of course, doon sa Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino channel na pwede nyo panoorin also na mas in-depth nga po doon. Unmasking Antonio Carpio Verdugo ng Kalayaan, kasi yun nga, forces have been pushing for war talaga na nakakatakot. We will be reporting again for yung post po ni Manalo na pinost also ni Sastrugando ay post po ni Locsin, diplomat. It should be a diplomat. So that's one of our topics for later, no. So yung let's move on sa para ma-discuss natin agad yung kay Kaado, no. So ito, this is one of our, ito yung mga gusto kong i-discuss din. Of course, God Daniel can also comment whenever he wants, no? It seems that the NED's funds for CSOs in the Philippines have dried up. Rappler and CMFR are not included in the list of those who were granted funds by the notorious NED in 2021. However, PCIJ is still included. So yun yung issue natin, no? With Rappler talaga. Kaya siya nakasuhan tapos inakit sa Court of Appeals, tapos ngayon nasa Supreme Court. Kaya siya kaya siya kinakasuhan din ng SEC, sinasabihan siya ng SEC, sinasabihan siya ng Court of Appeals. Kasi yung pinaka-main na ano niyan is main na idea po niyan yung funding po niya ay foreign. Hindi po siya po ay media entity at lumalabag po 'yun sa constitution kapag binibigyan po ng foreign entity ang pera ang media institution dito sa bansang ito, kasi nasa constitution po natin 'yun na dapat independent po yung media natin. At para yung ano po kasi niyan, effect po kasi niyan is na i-influence ng foreign entities ng mga ibang bansa na may, of course, na may ibang interest yung media, and then in effect yung general population ng mga, so ilan po yung likes ng Rappler, ilan yung nagfo-follow sa kanya sa Facebook, ilan nagfo-follow sa kanya sa YouTube. So kapag influence po yung Rappler na mag-publish ng kung ano-ano, ng kung ano-ano na yun nga questionable, na at yun nga kahit nga hindi sila mag-publish, kahit nga funded lang po sila ng foreign entity, bawal po talaga. Yun lang po yun. Kasi yung influence can be subtle. Influence can be, pwedeng sabihin lang na yung presence nga lang yung possibility nga lang. Doon sa isang case ng Rappler is, yung possibility lang ng control, kahit hindi ginamit yung control, ay influence na rin. So, na-rule po yun sa Court of Appeals. So, nasa page po natin yun. May nag-edit po tayo ng pictures po tungkol doon. So, yun po talaga issue natin with Rappler kasi funded po sila ng National Endowment for Democracy. Ay, iba pa yun sa funding na doon sa talagang literal na foreign company na which is, if I remember correctly, Omidyar, no? So, tapos yung ginawa po ng Rappler is, kunwari donation daw, pinadaan sa donation. So, yun nga fina-fund po ng ibang bansa ang Rappler. Fina-fund po ng ibang bansa, fina-fund ng foreign entity, ng foreign companies yung Rappler. And then now, nakikita natin na nawawalan na po sila ng funding. So, yun nga kaya nga napansin po natin, nagkaka-ads, ang dami ng ads po sa Rappler, no? Samantalang araw, konti lang. And then also, nagpapa-subscribe na sila ng Rappler Plus. So, meron siya ng subscription services, every month bibigyan mo sila ng pera para ma-fund po yung Rappler. So, yun, so let's read a couple of comments. Vivian, pinupondohan ng kano ang Rappler at verify sa mind conditioning ng mga tao. So, yeah, that's, well, yun yung ginigit ng
Joshua,
yes, Kaado.
I wish to call the attention of our listeners, especially those who have watched the interview of Christian Isguera with Antonio Carpio, retired magistrate, no? Where he was talking about mga taong bayaran. He was accusing people who were pro-China as bayaran, when it is documented internationally and in the internet, no, in open sources,
Yes.
that the Americans are very active. Not only the American government, insofar as the National Endowment for Democracy is concerned, but also the private NGOs, no, like Obidian Network and the Soros Foundation, Open Society Foundation, and other American foundations. The National Endowment for Democracy, mga kabansa, was formed in 1983 by legislation. Kasi lumalaki na ng lumalaki ang appropriation ng American Congress, ng US Congress, sa Central Intelligence Agency. Alam niyo naman kung ano ang Central Intelligence Agency, no po? Now, ang work ng CIA is divided into basically two: overt and covert. Yung pong covert only constitute 10% of its activities. 90% of its activities is actually overt in the open source. Eh, lumalaki po ang appropriation, kaya marami nagre-reklamong representatives and senators. So ang ginawa ng American government, sineparate into another entity yung overt operations, yung open source. And the centrality of that was created in the National Endowment for Democracy. This is not to say, no, that the distinction between NED and CIA, there is a complete disjunction. No, hindi po. Yung purposes lang yan of distributing the money para ma-preserve ng CIA yung kanyang covert activities without prejudice to the overt activities. So NED, for all intents and purposes, is the overt CIA. Di po ba? Ganyan lang po yan. No? And bukod dun sa PDRs, no? Yung mga sort of shares of stock of different characteristics na pinalabas, depositary receipts po yan, Philippine depositary receipts, na in-issue ng Rappler. Ang Obedyan Network po dyan, ang NGO, bought $1 million worth of PDRs. And worse, nag-indicate sila in the contract of subscription that the Obedyan Network will have a say in the policies of Rappler. Kaya po ang Rappler is a CIA front. No? Diretsuhin ko na po yan. And supported din ng NED funds. But lately, mukhang nabubuo na sila. According to this report of Joshua, medyo nawala na sila ng support, NED at saka Verifile siguro. And magkano ito, mga kabansa? Ha? Ang natira na lang daw ay PCIJ. Ha? PCIJ, of course, ang tao po behind the PCIJ ay isang dating Pilipino, ewan ko kung nag-Amerikano na siya ngayon, who is now in Columbia University in New York, no? Yan pong mga Pilipino na yan ang mga bayaran, mga kabansa. Yan po ang mga tunay na traidor sa bayan. Dinenta ang kanilang mga kaluluwa. At marami rin po, including a group of a lawyers group and a media group that used to be funded by NED. Ewan ko kung itinuloy pa rin yung kanila. Marami po mga frauds na ganyan. Marami din po yung tinatawag ni Mentong na mga jukebox scholars na funded by this overt so-called funding agencies, no? At nandiyan na po, meron po isang taga-Lasal, maingay na maingay, hindi ko naman sinasabing si Renato de Castro yan. Meron din po sa Ateneo na maingay. At hindi ko rin naman sinasabi na si hindi ko na nga babanggitin ang pangalan. No? Sa UP, Marami pong funding ang CIA na kino-course din sa Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, ng Washington, D.C., na kino-course naman sa Strat-based Albert del Rosario Institute. So yung po mga konektado sa ADR ay mga American agents po yan and subalterns, no? I am not accusing them. I am just telling you that they are so because of the funding sources nila. And they have not yet beaten the hands of those who have fed them for so many years. But dito po sa programa namin ay ini-expose namin sila kasi yung mga yan, mga kabansa, ang nagtulot doon sa unang binasa ni Joshua na EEZ is not part of territory and there is a distinction between sovereignty and sovereign rights, na gumawa po yung mga yan kasabwat ng mga Amerikano, by calling the arbitral tribunal. So I will lead into that discussion later. But I'm just telling you right now that there is a plot, no? By the amboys in our society to poison the waters in the South China Seas. No? And the government is presently just reacting to it instead of going into the root causes of the problem and coming up with a solution for the good, not just of the Philippines, but all of the claimant countries in the South China Sea. Yan po ang ano. Kasi sabi ni Carpio at ni Esguera, mga bayaran. And why don't they look into the records of NET? I am not, and lately, naglabas pa po ang Amerika, no, ng legislation called the America Competes Act that appropriated $500 billion, kalahating billion po, to demonize China. So, sino ang mga bayaran? Ka Joshua, ka Dani, no? Ka Mentong. Sino mga bayaran? I am just setting the record straight. And you can verify this. You can verify this in the internet because there are public disclosures of what I have just said. Thank you, Ka Joshua.
Yes, thank you po Kado, no. Nag-comment po siya dun sa Competes Act, no, na nasa US Senate po ata ngayon or napasa na. Alam ko napasa na, no. Na
Napasa
meron
na yan.
talagang na meron talagang funding na dumadaloy na of course pinag-ayabang nga to ng American media na ganun yung nangyayari. Nag-incite sila ng violence, nag-incite sila ng kaguluhan sa ibang bansa, no. And then parang sila po ang mga kingmakers sa ibang bansa, sila po ang nagmamanipula ng mga gera sa ibang bansa. And of course, alam po natin yung history ng United States na napakaikli lang po yung period po niya ng peace. Parang sa 300 years po siya, mga a few decades lang po yung peace po niya. So that should be a red flag, you know. To say na magbasa po tayo ng history, no, na ganito po yung nangyari dati at yun po yung tendency na mangyari sa susunod kasi sila po pa rin po yung kaisipan po na yun nasa kanila po rin po na yung colonial mentality po ng Western countries andun pa rin po. Of course, later we can also mention yung nangyayari sa Niger, no? And then yung pagtalsik nila sa mga Pranses, mga French. So, I think we can move on, no? If
Josh,
Daniel,
I'd just
yeah,
like
sige.
to
Please,
give a
thank you.
quick comment.
Yeah, sure.
May about Rappler, no? May may sinulat si Ambassador Tiglao earlier this year. I think after yung announcement na may expand yung EDCA plus 4 sites, no? At yung title po ng article niyon ay EDCA, the price of EDCA is an acquiescent press. I think nakikita naman ng tao na after the announcement of EDCA plus 4, medyo nagiging hindi na silang critical ng Rappler. Actually, in fact, there's a quote card. May sinabi si Maria Ressa na the Marcos administration is doing a great
Yes.
job, no?
Mm-mm.
So that is, of course, a red flag. Isipin niyo, why is it that nung election, grabe talaga yung propaganda, black propaganda nila sa Marcos family. At ngayon, even Maria Ressa is praising Bongbong Marcos. And in fact, may isa pang silang puff piece, may isang article praising yung First Lady, no? Imagine, wala silang pinupuri kay First Lady Imelda, kay former President Marcos, si Senator Amy. Pero ngayon, yung First Lady, parang, in light of marami siyang scandal, pero seems like she gets a pass. And I think po, nagwawala, kumukonti na yung pondo ng mga Amerikano ng Rappler dahil hindi po sila successful sa kanilang black propaganda against PRRD, former President Duterte, no? As dahil in spite ng mga drug war, yung ICC investigation, mga accusations na ganyan, naging 80-90% yung approval rating ni Pangulong Duterte nung natapos na yung terminal po niya. So, I think hindi po successful and nagigising na po ang taong bayan sa kanilang mga propaganda.
Yes, yun nga no, buti na naalala ni ka Daniel po yun no, na merong quote po si Ressa, I can find it right now no, pero baka later, na sinasabi niya, I hope the success of Marcos, of of Bongbong Marcos. So nakakatakot na po na isipin po no, na yung Rappler ay bumaliktad na po, at ito po may we're flashing po yung puff piece po ng Rappler for Araneta Marcos. Samantalang yung mother-in-law niya, Imelda, alam mo namang yung mga article na nandito sa Rappler about her. So, yun po, no, dun po tayo natatakot kasi bumabaliktad na po yung, yung Rappler at nakikita po natin yung mga nangyayari. So, let's move on po, no, to cover more topics, no. So, right now, we're moving into yung alarming na nangyayari na nakaka-influence po sa aking diet po right now. Hindi po ako kumakain ng isda sa sa takot na baka may radioactive elements na po yung na fish po ng ating mga fishermen diyan sa Pacific Ocean dahil sa pagtambak, pagtapon, yurak ng ating Pacific Ocean dahil sa mga ginagawa ng Hapon na yung Fukushima wastewater nila ay dinatambak sa Pacific Ocean. So ito po from Jamin Meiji po no na image ay isang Hapon na naglalagay ng condiment na radioactive at yung ating ating world ay kinakain po yung pagkain po na radioactive. So another article, let's read Fukushima para meron tayong context. Fukushima wastewater released into the ocean. China bans all Japanese seafood. So yun po kasi yung Fukushima wastewater po ay ayun po nga, other people would say na ay ano po yan, treated na po yan, okay na po yan, that's all fine, inuminom po nga po yung Prime Minister. So bakit hindi nila inumin pa ulit-ulit? So kasi meron po siyang meron po siyang a little puff piece na ininom ko ang Fukushima wastewater po na yan. Well, yun nga, ininom mo nga pero that's just one time. That's just for the pictures. Tapos how can we know na galing yun doon talaga? Na na ininom mo, no? So, hindi nga po natin ma-sure po yun. Kasi, ayun nga, masasabi nga natin na yung ginawa, yung kung paano po kasi ginamit yung water eh. Yung paggamit mo ng water ay galing po sa sa mismong nagka-contact po sa nuclear reaction, nagka-contact po sa exposed nuclear reactor. So, kung nakapanood po tayo ng Chernobyl, na yun nga, kapag na-expose na po yung water, meron po siyang elements, meron po siyang radioactivity, meron po siyang mga nasa tubig na hindi dapat nasa tubig. Tapos ine-equate po ito ng mga American mouthpieces, no, na hindi katulad lang po yan sa China, sa UK na nuclear reactor, ganun po yan. No, ito po ay galing sa disaster, ito po ay galing sa disastrous pangyayari na Fukushima, na na-expose po yung nuclear reactor po niya at ginamit po yung tubig na yan para mapalamig po yun. So yun nga, we can see nga here in the video, no? Meron tayong site video na yung kumukuha ng tubig ay talagang balot na balot po. Naka-gloves po, naka-face mask, naka-ano. And then yun nga, tas inumin po natin yan kasi mapupunta po yan sa Pacific Ocean. Inumin po ng isda po na hihingayin po ng isda po natin yan, mahihinga ng isda po natin yan at makukuha ng mga fishermen. So that's the danger, no? Na hindi binabalita sa mainstream media, na wala tayong nakikitang articles about that. Meron nang rally here in Philippines, meron nang rally dun sa South Korea, meron nang rally sa China, meron nang rally sa Japan mismo. May nagra-rally sa Japan mismo. I think we already reported it here. And then wala tayong nakikita
Bakit,
sa mainstream media. Yeah, Kado, please.
bakit Ka Joshua, na sinasabi ni Bongbong Marcos at ng gobyerno niya na pro-fishermen sila? And they are in fact, according to them, promoting the interests of the fisher folk dito sa South China Sea. And yet, pagdating dito sa pollution, no, of our of the seas, no, which will eventually get, because wala namang boundary sa sea, which will eventually pollute the entire oceans, all the oceans in the world, no, in varying degrees, especially the Pacific Ocean, no? Parang wala silang ginagawa, no? Parang suportado pa nila itong mga Hapon, no? Ito hindi ko maintindihan eh. Anyway, ewan ko, no? Baka darating ang araw na i-require ng gobyerno natin na may label na ang mga isda. Whether it comes from outside the Philippine sources or within our archipelago, lagyan na ng label ang mga isda, no? Katulad ng pag-label ng mga fruits. Napansin mo ba, Ka Joshua, mga fruits may mga label na? So baka i-require na yan ang FDA, no? But I'm still verifying an FDA report sa US. Sa US mismo, already banning certain fish and seafood products coming from Japan. So hindi ko maintindihan ito eh. Where is this coming from? Bakit akala ko ba technologically advanced ang Japan, and they are one of the safest pagdating sa operations ng nuclear plants. Pero tama ka, this is not part of the normal operations ng planta ng nuclear, no? Because Fukushima was hit by a tsunami, and because of the consequent floods, ay naapektuhan ho, nag-overheat yung mga cooling system. And so yung mga waters na generated dyan contains more than the usual degree of radioactivity and other things. I will not engage you in the technical discussion of this. Basta yan po, ang tanong dyan simple lang. Why is the US and Bongbong Marcos allowing the poisoning of the Pacific Ocean and the South China Sea because eventually pupunta yan dyan no ha? So ayan mga kabansa, welcome to a new age of possibly cancer and other diseases that will come out of this. Japan has just unleashed a new pandemic, no? An oceanographic pandemic, if I may say so. Ayan, ayan, Ka
So,
Joshua.
yeah, yung we remember po yung COVID ay or airborne, no? Ito po ay waterborne na radioactivity na pinapalabas po natin. Na hindi lang po one time. Let's be clear, no? Hindi po ito one time, big time na konti lang po ipapalabas. No, this will be, that's a concern also kasi ipapalabas siya within the span of 30 years. So, 30 years tuloy-tuloy na ilalagay yan itatapon yan sa Pacific Ocean. 30 years na tuloy-tuloy. So, plenty of time to make ourselves known na, yun nga, sinasabi nga natin yung ating na ating stance na we are against it kasi yun nga, don't nuke the Pacific. So, this is a South Korean protest na marami po yung pumunta. So, yun nga, we have protested also here in the Philippines bago yun mangyari. Of course, hindi tayo pinansin. We had a couple of media air time na konti. So we're doing what we can. So we should do what we can lang kasi pag tuloy-tuloy lang po kailangan po natin ng representation about our stances, no. So read lang po ako ng konting VJ Wilkin. So hello. Good morning everyone. Unable to listen for last 2 weeks. Well, thank you for coming with us, no. And then I got a message from Mentong, include his name in the raffle. Okay, so yun po, we will be having a raffler right now. Please include his name in the raffle. He texts me as he's not a computer literate. So nag-text po kay Mentong, no. Good morning, Ka Joshua. Here's hoping you're well and healthy now from your followers. Ram Bautista, Sat Bautista, address Pampanga. So may address sa Pampanga. So ayusin po natin yung raffle, no, for our people po, no. And then yun nga, let's ask the questions. Let's ask the hard questions. Ano po yung ginagawa ng ating government about this? Ano po yung ginagawa ng BBM government about this? Kasi this is 30 years 30 years to. So alamin po natin kung ano po yung mga natin, no. So magkubasa po tayo. Receive na po ng anak ko yung book na Arnis, sabi ni Rowena Quimado. Thank you. Yun nga, I think she went to Kamuning Bakery a couple of weeks. Thank you for tas nag-call sa akin, no. So thank you for the interaction, no. I'm for freedom of speech. Let Rappler do their thing. Yeah, oo nga. Pero yun nga within the confines of the Constitution dapat. Let Rappler do their thing with their own money. Dapat hindi walang foreign funding kasi lugi na yun Pagka-billion yung kalaban namin, wala na, diba? So, yeah, pinupuntahan ng kano yung Rappler at Verifaz from Vivian. Thank you. Food Tech Buddies, it's Carpio who gets paid as loudspeaker of USA. So, because nothing is free. Pity this Carpio, tonto pa rin. So, noon Supreme Court siya na babayaran siya, top secret ba? So, that's a hard question, no? Rappler has no right here in the PH. So shallow, pera ba yan actually ang Rappler? Dapat kayo ipagtanggol ninyo from Marino Alambat, dapat ipagtanggol ang stand ng Philippines and China. Yeah, nabasa ko nga rin to and then tinanong niya, kahit kampi kayo sa syempre kampi ka sa family mo. Well, dun sa Philippines and China, well, kampi kami sa Philippines, no? And then kampi kami sa hindi pagwasak ng Pilipinas dahil po sa ginagawa po ng mga Amerikano. Yun po, dun kami kampi, no? Ayaw po namin ng gera dito sa Pilipinas at later we will show na yun nga, out and out na sila na okay sila sa gera. Just stick around a little bit, no? Ka Joshua, si Christian Esguerra ginawaran ng Marshal Lahun Fellowship Award ng CMFR in cooperation with National Endowment for Democracy at Ateneo de Manila noong October 9,
Yun
2020.
na.
So yun, no? Yun,
There you
that's
go.
there you go.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
That is where Christian is getting his funding.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, yun na po.
Can we research that? Can Joshua,
Yes.
can we research?
Yeah, okay,
Oh,
let's research that. So let's let's shout out a big thank you for let me ano na name, no. Na yun nga ano po yun eh. That's public documents. Reynaldo Lazaro. So thank you Reynaldo Lazaro. I'll be putting that in the group chat, no. So para mayroon kaming info about that. Thank you for your information. Ayun lang po, we research that way eh. Kasi public naman yung documents, nakikita naman namin. No? So, connect the dots lang ng konti, tapos yun na. Kayo din ba yung dating Chinese name na nagpalit ng Filipino name? No. Ako po ay Passion from the North. So, ano talaga, well, ginigint na ng line namin na meron kaming personal connection dun sa Marcoses of the North, no? So, yun, kahit mabintang kayo na kampi kami sa US, well, kung ganun na kampi kayo sa US, ay magkakagera po sa Pilipinas. That's what we believe kasi yun po yung nasa history. So, ito po, Lumpia Logic, $4.99. How's it going? Well, it's going very well. Of course, Mentong is resting, pero okay lang po. We have to have a little rest a few days at a time, no? Ayun po yung kailangan natin. Kailangan once in a while magre-rest po talaga tayo. Para meron tayong this is not this is not a one-time battle. This is not a this is a marathon na tuloy-tuloy na kailangan na consistent po tayo and then tuloy-tuloy po tayo. Tama pa, inom sa mga hapon yung Fukushima water, total sabi nila safe. That's exactly right. Kailangan sa kanilang system po nila pinapalabas po yung tubig po nila sa kanilang nawasa, sa kailang direkta dapat sa mga ano nila, no? Yun po yung main gripe po natin diyan. Kailangan sa kanilang ano. So, medyo mabagal yung ano natin, no? It's 8:45, ang bilis pa, no? Dapat we have more time, no? Ka Daniel and ka Ado, you can jump in anytime, no? Siguro
Yeah.
speed run na natin
Ka
to, no?
Joshua, ka Do.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, yung may nakita pong video na nilabas yung Japanese government, yung Prime Minister ata, sa kinain nila yung isda galing sa Fukushima water. Tapos it was very surprising kasi pati mga Westerners, mga Amerikano, Europeans, they don't believe him anymore. Sabi nila that could be from anywhere, you know? Sabi nila
Yes.
yung isda daw galing daw sa Fukushima wastewater. Well, yung video is the Japanese Prime Minister was seated, tapos may plato siya, tapos yung isda, sabi niya galing daw from the ocean. Well, wala silang video na pumupunta yung mga officials sa contaminated water at iniinom nila yung mga tubig. Walang ganun. So the people are not stupid, and they're not going to fall for that anymore. Even the Westerners.
Yeah, so that's the article, no. I'm flashing it right now, no. So yun nga eh, na baka baka galing pa sa Pilipinas 'yan. Para safe na safe, no. Bumili sila ng galing Pilipinas. So, that's the issue, no. Okay, we can move on na. Kasi ito na po yung mga para makapag talk po si Kaado ng lengthily, no. So so yung next na ano natin ay next na topic po natin ay rice retailers groaning under new price cap. So let's read this muna. Economics Train D said that she would lose 500 pesos per sack if she sold it at 45 pesos per kilo, one of the caps mandated by the president. Executive Order 39 sets a price ceiling of 45 pesos per kilo for well-milled rice and 41 pesos per kilo for regular milled rice. So yun po, ano po yan eh, demand and supply and demand. So kapag naglagay ka ng price per kilo na nakapako, ay mabubugbog po yung mga rice retailer. So I think hindi po yan sustainable eh. Of course, is stopgap method. Stop muna. Wag mo na kasi wag mo na tumaas yung presyo ng bigas kasi tuloy-tuloy po. Pero yung problem po dyan, Bongbong Marcos, you have been the Department of Agriculture chairperson, the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture for a long while now. 1 year na, no? And then, ito po yung products ng iyong, as we suppose, ang iyong hard work. We suppose, no? Ano po yung nangyayari? Bakit ganyan? Ikaw mismo may hawak, ikaw ang presidente, you have all the power of the executive branch na pwede kayong mag-enact ng mga policies na biglaan, na mabilis to avoid this very thing, to avoid this very things, no? Na tumaas yung presyo ng bigas. Bakit po ganyan? Yun lang po. We have to ask the questions and di po tayo we have to think for ourselves. Bakit po nagkakaganyan? He's not doing a great job. Yun lang po yun, no? Bakit ganyan? So, let's move on again.
Hindi nga, Joshua,
Yeah, sige, go.
According to the DA, hindi nga umattend ng presidente yung mga meetings with high-level officials for 6 months. Hindi nga siya umattend ng mga
Yes.
DA meetings.
Okay,
So, yeah.
I was trying to find that nga eh. Sige, Kado.
Ito na, basically dito sa bigas, ang masasabi ko lang dyan is I hope Bobo Marcos is not proposing to abolish the law of supply and demand. No? At walang pupuntahan itong price control niya. 60 pesos. 3 times yung kanyang 20 pesos. No? I think this will bring down Bobo Marcos eventually. Ang dami niya masyadong mga chinachat-chat. And we will deal with some later. Anyway, here is ito pala si Christian Esguerra is a recipient of an award from from one of the tinatawag ni Rigoberto Tiglao na CIA conduit funding. No? The National Endowment for Democracy. This was written in October 9, 2017. Accused of being a channel for Central Intelligence Agency propaganda and destabilization operations, has stepped up its funding for 3 local media outfits that have been publishing articles in the internet very critical of the Duterte administration. These media outfits, ito na, getting substantial amounts from NAD are the Philippine Center for Investigative Reporting, Investigative Journalism, PCIJ, Vera Files, and the Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility. Ayan mga kabansa, sino mga bayaran? Net documents show that for 2015, the earliest year for which data is available, 2016 and 2017, it gave PCIJ 106,900, Vera File 70,000, and CMFR 278,000. Ayan. So ayan mga kabansa, no? At tumanggap ng award itong si Christian Esguerra, no? In 2020, the Marshall McLuhan Fellow ng Canadian Embassy sa Pilipinas at ng Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility. So there you have it. Ikaw, Christian Esguerra, ang bayaran. There you go. How can you deny this? This is all over the internet. You receive money and an award from the and a fellowship from the Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility. Dapat ikahiya ka ng University of Santo Tomas, ostensibly where you graduated as a cum laude. No? Pero sa babaw, ng iyong kaalaman ukol sa mga issues na tinatalakay mo at nagdidepend ka lang sa mga sources like Antonio Carpio, basura ka. Basura ka. No wonder ang dami mong subscribers, no? Ang pera siguro ginagastos mo sa boosting ay sobra pa sa mga daily needs mo. And I can see from the facility where you are broadcasting from, no? Unlike itong aming shabby situation, na naglipat pa ako ng computer dito kanina at nag-areglo pa dahil it doesn't work properly for the past 2 weeks. Ay ikaw, you are broadcasting from a comfortable studio. And ewan ko lang, no? But ako nagdududa na rin masyado sa ibang mga aspeto sa iyo. But we are monitoring you, Christian Sierra. We are monitoring you. Not in behalf of any country, no? But we are monitoring you in the interest of the truth. We always say here in this program, we are not pro-US, we are not pro-China. And most of the time, especially under the Marcos administration, we are not even pro-government dito, no? Because our government is representing not the national interests of the Filipino people, but of the vested interest of a foreign country. And I don't know what deals you made with the United States, Mr. Marcos Jr., no? But mamaya, expose natin. Sige lang, Joshua, let's go to the next topic.
Yeah, let's go to the next topic, kasi pumapasok na po tayo sa international relations na rin po, and then sa ating economy. Maraming Chinese investors umano ang nagdadalawang isip na mamuhunan sa Pilipinas ayon sa Employers Confederation of the Philippines. So, nagdadalawang isip yan na po yung yan na po yung results ng hindi po paghabol ng diplomatic solution. Kailangan po kasi diplomacy. Yun nga po, nagtataka nga po tayo na isang diplomat ang mukhang nagpo-push pa ng gera, no? Pero let's move on, no? So yun po that's one kinalabasan po ng isa nating nangyayari na hindi po natin pursue ng diplomatic solution. Okay, ito na po, nagbabawi na po from Sasurgando and Manila Bulletin. Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo has cited the importance of Filipino-Chinese community in maintaining Philippines' diplomatic relations with China. Paano yan? Sinasabihan nyo po ang mga pro-Philippines-Chinese relations na traidor. Ngayon po mismo, dito po sa si Marino Alambat, sinasabihan po tayo na bakit kayo kumakampi sa China? Bakit po kayo may Chinese name po kayo nagpalit ng Filipino name? I can say na ito po yung result ng pagsasabi po ni Tariela na traidor daw po. Samantalang biglaan naman kumambyo si Manalo na urges Philippine-Chinese community to promote PH-China relations. Sinasabihan nyo po na traidor yung government po na yun nga yung dapat hindi po nagsasalita tungkol sa foreign policy. Dapat yung presidente po magsalita ay nagsasalita po lahat, senador, congressman, nasa PCG. Hindi po makakambyo, hindi po makagalaw po ang DFA at yung DFA may sinasabi din, hindi po makagalaw po ang presidente. Kahit gusto man lang ng diplomatic solution, inuunahan na ng PCG. And then ngayon kakambyo, no? Ito sabi ni Sasurgando, hindi ba katraidoran yan sa bansa? Ayaw ni DFA Sec Romualdez yan. So let's think about yung mga nangyayari, no? So ito na po, nagsalita na rin po for UK Foreign Secretary, isolating China would be a mistake. Kasi po siya po ay isang sabihin na natin na country of the world, kasama po siya sa sa mundo po na ito na meron din pong contribution sa economy. James Cleverly has defended his meetings with senior Chinese government members, saying it would be a mistake to try to isolate China during the first visit to Beijing in 5 years by UK Foreign Secretary. So, bakit po kasi tayo naghanap ng gera? Bakit po tayo naghanap ng kaguluhan samantalang ang diplomatic policy is the only way to go unless na gusto nyo po ng gitgitan na of course mapupunta sa gera kasi yun po talaga yung trademark, American trademark. So, ayun po, nagsalita na rin po si this is Badoy, Dr. Badoy, no? Tungkol sa sinasabi ni Commodore Tariela. So, I think we can play the video pero I don't think kung maririnig nila kaado, no? So, sinasabi, well, i-analyze na, sabihin na lang, let's read na lang po. Dr. Badoy to Commodore Tariela, shame on you. Kasi, yun nga, halatang kumakampi. Yun po yung totoong kumakampi. At na meron pong benefits po na nakukuha, no? So, let's move on again. So, ito po yung sinabi po ni Presidente, we'll continue to defend our territorial sovereignty and our territorial rights. Yun nga lang po, yun nga, yun yung sinabi ng Presidente, pero yun yung masasabi natin na paano ba? Masasabi natin na linya ng kanyang mga sponsor, no, ng kanyang mga, yun nga, Kaado was alluding to a deal made by Marcos to the United States. Well, we can't confirm that right now, pero sana hindi naman sobrang halata. And we will have to respond to all of these, and we will. Pero yun nga, yung point po natin dyan, hindi yung nababalita also, is I'll bet 100 pesos right now, right here, na hindi po ninyo alam na pati po yung Vietnam ay before yung China nagsabi ng kanilang territory, ay yung Vietnam din po ay nag-declare na po ng kanilang map, nag-declare na rin po ng kanilang stance doon po sa kanilang supposed, yun nga, disputed territory. Let's call it disputed territory kasi disputed naman talaga yung territory eh. Na right now we will flash, no? Bago pa niyan kasi yung mismong Vietnam ay nagsasabi rin po ng kanilang ng kanilang stance na sa amin din po ang Spratlys. So this is the Vietnamese flag. So saan po natin yung galing? Dito po yan galing sa isang announcement po sa Intellectual Property Office of Vietnam na nag-announce po sila ng kanilang territory. Announcement on the administrative map of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. So, nag-aagawan po talaga sa territory ang Vietnam, Malaysia, China, and the Philippines dun sa particularly Spratlys, no? And then sa kanila din po ay nag-name na po rin po sila ng kanilang name ng Spratlys. So hindi po natin nakikita. Wala, zero visibility, zero news, zero lahat tungkol po dito. Kasi natitibag po ang kanilang ang kanilang angle supporting the 2016 arbitration ruling ng The Hague, no, ng PCA, na sa atin po ang Spratlys, sa atin po yan lahat. Pero China lang po yung nandoon. And then China nandoon, no? Kasi hindi po sila nagpadala ng representative, di po sila lumaban, at sinabi po nila na hindi nila i-recognize po yung ruling po na yan simula pa ng una. Yes, Kaado, please.
Joshua, can you please read in full the statement of Marcos kasi hindi ko mabasa rito the whole thing eh.
Okay, let's read in full, no? The statement of Marcos. Of course, we'll continue to defend our territorial sovereignty, our territorial rights. We have not changed our approach. It is other countries around us that have changed their approach. Once again, we have received the news that now the 9-dash line has been extended to the 10-dash line. and we will have to respond to all of these, and we will. We have stayed true to the rules-based international law, especially the UNCLOS, and I think puts us in very solid ground in terms of our claims to territorial sovereignty, maritime territory. We should take strength in that, and I believe that it is a very big help to the Philippines in continuing to defend our maritime borders.
Okay, I would like to criticize this stupid statement. No? Could you flash the new map, yung pinadala ko sa yung slide, if you could?
Okay. Yes, I will.
So that we will have an appreciation of this, better appreciation of this for our...
Okay. Flashing Supreme Court GR.
Okay. Yan. No? Okay. Now, alam po ninyo, mga kabansa, which one is on camera?
Supreme Court GR.
Hindi yan. Yung susunod na may mapa ng...
Okay, Pag-asa and Parola.
Pagpapalit ng mapa ng China eh. Mapa ng China, pagpapalit ng mapa ng China. Alam po ninyo, katawa-tawa itong mga sinasabi ng ating Pangulo, no? At ako ngayon ay talagang kumbinsido na siya ay bobo. Bobo Marcos, hindi bongbong. Unang-una, dito sa mapang ito, tatlo ang features. On August 28, China announced its 10-dash line. Ano ang component ng bagong 10-dash line which consists of the China Standard Map Edition 2023? Una, 9-dash line. Plus 1 line to include Taiwan. At mayroong mga portions doon sa India territory, no? That we will not anymore discuss kasi this is between India and China. Wala namang nabago sa Pilipinas eh. Ano yung pinagsasabi ni Marcos? Ay bobo talaga. Wala namang nabago sa 9-dash line eh. Wala namang nabago eh. At saka this is the root of all the problems we have that has been instigated, no? Primarily by the 2016 arbitral ruling and much earlier by Republic Act 95-22, which was the baseline law that the Philippines Congress enacted in 2009. Makinig kayong mabuti mga kabansa. Dahil ito, importante. But dito mismo, sa first sentence ng sinabi ni Bobo Marcos, we'll continue to defend our territorial sovereignty and territorial rights. Nag-iimbento ng terminology ito eh. There is no such thing as territorial rights in the consideration of UNCLOS. It is not between territorial sovereignty and territorial rights. It is between sovereignty and sovereign rights. So, will the president please, for the sake of the people, mag-aral ka naman. Inili ka ng tao eh, ngayon binubudol-budol mo kami. Hindi kami mga tanga. We are not a country of 109 million tanga. Ikaw lang ang nagsasabi nito. We have not changed our approach. That is precisely the problem. Why have we not changed our approach? It is because you don't know the root of the problem. You have no appreciation other than what the Americans are whispering to your ear. Diretsahan na. Tapos babanggitin mo pa rito? Ha? And we will have to respond to all this. Oh my God, and we will. Why? How have we been responding? Since Noynoy Aquino, we have been responding to this. And you resurrected it because Duterte had already responded to it properly. Why? Because the problem starts with us. It does not start with China. Oh. Sabihin yung traitor ako dahil sinabi ko yan. Eh yan po ang katotohanan eh. No? Pakita natin ngayon yung mapa na with full Philippine map.
In flashing.
Yung different configurations of our country resulting from the mga kalokohan ng mga lawyers in our midst. Yan ang hirap eh, pag pinabayaan natin mga abogagos. I am sorry to say that because the principal author of 9522 was Miriam Defensor. No? But I would grant that during that time, the perception was different. So I will go easy on Miriam Defensor. Dito sa Supreme Court GR 187167, petitioners' assertion of loss of about 15,000, I think there are more, square nautical miles of territorial waters under Republic Act 9522 ay sinabi ng Supreme Court is unfounded. Both in fact and in law. Okay. Sino ang ponente nito? Ang ponente po nito ay ang inyong matalik na kaibigan na si Antonio Carpio. Ayan ang problema. In fact and in law, and I will question the factuality of that. Total mahilig si Carpio at si Sguerra mag-fact check. O yan, ang finding ng Supreme Court, on the contrary, Republic Act 9522 optimized the location of base points, increased pa daw the maritime space, covering its internal waters, territorial sea, and exclusive economic zone by 16 square nautical miles as shown in the table below. Ayan po, nakikita niyo yung table, mga kabansa. Extent of maritime areas using Republic Act, yung pong ina-amend ng 9522. Taking into account the Treaty of Paris delineation in square nautical miles. Internal or archipelagic waters, 116,858. Territorial sea, 274,136. For a total of 440,994. Sa Republic Act 9522, mga kabansa, klarong-klaro sa chart. No? Yung pong item ang nasa chart. And if you go back to the ruling mismo, this chart has been included, as well as the map on the right, has been included in GR 187167. Hindi po ako nag-iimbento nito. Pero yung blue at saka red, sa akin yan. Alright. Let us now go to the extent of RA 9520. Take into account UNCLOS. Internal or archipelagic waters, 171,435. Alright. Medyo lumaki pa daw. Medyo lumaki pa daw. Alright. Ng 5,000 something. Territorial Sea, nag-decrease ng 32,106. Kung titingnan nyo yung mapa sa kanan, mga kabansa, yung sinasabi na Treaty of Paris ay yung rectangle black line. No? Yun, nakalagay, Treaty of Paris. Rectangular po yan mostly, no? Nireduce po yan ng Republic Act 9522 at Republic Act 3046 into a triangular. Yung pong sinisimbula noong blue at saka red line. Oh, ano ba yan? Violet line ba yan? Alright. Okay? And then of course, yung naka-jot out na polygon sa kaliwa, yun ang PD 1596, yun po ang Kalayaan Island Group. Pero, ang 9522 is the blue line that is almost the same as 3046, except in some areas on the right of Quezon and on the left of Mindoro and dito sa Sulusi, sa ilalim. Alright. And then nilagyan niya yung corresponding to the blue line ng green line representing the 200 nautical miles exclusive economic zone kuno from the Palawan coast and all over the Philippines. The 382,000 something, no? Pero, hindi ko maintindihan dito, bakit sinasabi nilang nawalan lang tayo ng 15,000 square nautical miles. Pag kinumpara niyo po yung nawalang Territorial Sea from the Treaty of Paris na 274,136 to 32,106, representing the red in the chart. Nawalan tayo ng 242,136 nautical miles. Square nautical miles. So, medyo misleading po at dito nakita ko that they were interposing the concept of sovereignty with sovereign rights. Because ang internal and archipelagic waters po at Territorial Sea are matters of sovereignty. Pero yung last category, exclusive economic zone, na nagkaroon tayo sa 9522, ay hindi po yan pag-aari natin. Hindi po yan pag-aari natin. Yan po ay sovereign rights lamang. So, hindi mo pwedeng i-add ng ganito. Mali po itong chart na ito. Sa pagkakaintindi, even by the Supreme Court with Carpio as ponente. Mga kabansa. I will show you why. In the succeeding chart, where portions of the treaty limits and kalayaan is presented, punta tayo ngayon doon sa medyo close-up ng kalayaan ka Joshua.
Okay, flashing. Pag-asa and Parola.
Ayan na, Pag-asa and Parola are outside the 200 nautical miles EEZ. Hindi lang po yan. Nawala na po yung polygon na yan. No? Yung blue, yung 9522. Yung violet, yung 3046, yung treaty limits ng Treaty of Paris at 1930 Convention Treaty, yun yung black. Dinugtong po ni Presidente Marcos Sr. ang Kalayaan Island Group dito sa 1898 Treaty of Paris Sovereignty. Yan po ay 1898. Ang UNCLOS Anong year ang UNCLOS? 1982. That took effect in 1994. UNCLOS cannot amend the Treaty of Paris. Excuse me. Huh? Not only because the Treaty of Paris is preeminent in significance as it involved many nations, including Spain, Cuba, and everybody else involved in the Spanish-American War. No? But the Philippines, and becoming part of international law. Ang problema dito kasi, ayan, nawala ho, ayun yung bilog, yung parola at yung pag-asa is already outside. First, outside of our EEZ, and second, because the Kalayaan Island groups were not rendered, was not approved as a regime of islands, but only pieces of rocks, by the arbitral ruling, na wala po yung polygon na yan. So, it is safe to say, that Pag-asa is already not part of the larger Philippine archipelago as amended by this polygon, but also not part of our EEC. So, saan tayo papunta nito, mga kabansa? That is why I say that the problems start with us in the Philippines. No? Panay ang badya natin sa China. Okay, punta tayo sa 9-dash line and international law. Alam niyo po, nung lumabas itong 10-dash line ng China, ito po ang statement ng Department of Foreign Affairs. This latest attempt to legitimize China's purported sovereignty and jurisdiction over Philippine features and maritime zones has no basis under international law. Ang kapal nyo sa DFA, tatanga-tanga kayo, mga bobo kayo dyan. Has no basis under international law. And then dinagdagan ninyo, particularly the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Sea. Mali kayo dyan. It should read, has no basis under 1982 UNCLOS. Why? I will explain later. Because this statement is dishonest. In logic, it is what we call fallacy or false generalization. You argue from specific to generalization. Mali po yan. I will give you an example. If Luzon is part of the Philippines, you cannot say that Luzon is the entire Philippines. Hindi po, kasama po Visayas, Mindanao dyan. Luzon is part of the Philippines, but the Philippines is not Luzon only. So you cannot false generalization po yan Dinagdagan pa ng DFA. DFA confirms this when it said the 2016 arbitral award invalidated the 9-dash line. So what? Alam po ninyo, the entire statutory construction of the Philippine position with China insofar as the South China Sea is concerned, particularly the Spratly Islands, is ito pong quotation na ito, from paragraph 112 ng arbitral ruling. China claims to sovereign rights jurisdiction and to historic rights with respect to maritime areas in the South China Sea encompassed by the 9-dash line are contrary to the convention. All right. We can agree with that. Hindi talaga pwede under UNCLOS itong 9-dash line. And without lawful effect to the extent. Why? Bakit hindi pwede ito sa UNCLOS? In-explain po ng paragraph 112. They exceed the geographic and substantial limits of China's maritime entitlements expressly permitted by UNCLOS. Ayan ang base. Yan ang base ng rules-based utak ni Bobo Marcos. Yan ang base ng American line. Yan ang base ng arbitral ruling. Yan ang base ng Aquino administration. Pero ano ang katotohanan, mga kabansa? Stand-alone lang ang UNCLOS. UNCLOS does not constitute the entirety of international law. It is only one specific treaty forming part of a set of rules, norms, standards generally recognized as binding between states. It is a system, mga kabansa, of treaties, not just one treaty, UNCLOS, but treaties and agreements between nations that governs how nations interact with other nations, citizens of other nations, and businesses of other nations. It also includes, mga kabansa, take note of this, customary laws that are not written anywhere, hindi nakasulat, but nations consent to them by doing nothing over time. You know what the United States, what Aquino and Marcos Jr., and what the arbitral ruling denies China is the very basic principle in international law of state consent. Alam po ninyo, kailangan pag-deal kayo with any country, that other country will have to agree to what you are dealing with. Logical po ba? Common sense lang yan. No? Alright? Now, what if the other party does not agree? Then there is no agreement. Yan po ang basis. Now, if I bring it back, no? The very, hindi na ako pupunta sa mga detalya, but the very arbitral tribunal presents exceptions to that ruling of 112 in paragraph 206, paragraph 207, and in particular paragraph 272. Ito lamang 272 ang babasahin ko for the purpose of brevity. In particular, the tribunal emphasizes that nothing in this award shall be understood to comment in any way on China's historic claim to the islands of the South China Sea. Wow! Bakit nag-cherry picking ito si Carpio? Bakit nag-cherry picking itong Albert de Rosario Institute? Bakit nag-cherry picking sa mga gusto lamang nila? At ngayon, posisyon na ngayon ni Bobo Marcos. Cherry picking lang kayo eh. You are only arguing the Philippine position from the viewpoint of UNCLOS, and UNCLOS is just one of the many treaties since time immemorial. And I will prove to you, and I am saying right now that I am fully convinced, and you can accuse me as a traitor, that China's position is very simple. Intindihin natin. Ang problema, ini-insist natin yung katigasan ng ulo ni Territorial. Drop out lang yan from the Philippine Military Academy for cheating. Di pakinggan nyo si Territorial na lalong malaso ng inyong kaisipan. Bakit ako nagagalit dito? Dahil hindi naman ho 9-line ang basis ng claim ng People's Republic of China eh. Yung 9-line na yan, drenowing lang ng Republic of China in 1947 to describe, kaya nga dotted line yan eh, yung extent ng kanilang historic rights. And hindi na ako palalawig pa to centuries and thousands of years. Babalik na lamang ako as recent as 1894 and throughout the World War II. UNCLOS, a specific treaty which was adopted in 1982 and became effective only in 1994. Importante ho mga petsa, mga kabansa. Cannot invalidate China's sovereignty over the entire South China Sea. And I believe that. That is why China is claiming, eto na. Una, kayo ba'y nakaupo ng maganda para hindi kayo mahulog sa inyong Syria? I am affirming right now that the South China Sea is the domestic sea of the People's Republic of China. Kaya anything about UNCLOS applications will not affect the fact in history and in treaties law that China owns the South China Sea. If China owns the South China Sea, we cannot exercise our sovereign rights in any of what we're claiming west of the Philippines without the permission of China. Klaro ho ba yan? What is my basis for my conclusion? The entirety of the South China Sea, including the Spratlys, the Paracels, the Pratas, all of these are archipelagos within the South China Sea. And in the North China Sea, the Pescadores have been won by China through victory in wars fought in the Second Sino-Japanese War of 1937 to 1945 and World War II, 1941 to 1945. Bakit? Dahil ho, mga kabansa, in 1938, inukupahan ng Japan ang Spratlys, and in 1939, inukupahan ng Japan ang Paracels. Kaya isang malaking kabaligtunan, kasinungalingan at kalukuhan itong sinasabi ni Bobo Carpio, no? Na walang pakialaman China dyan. Kung walang pakialaman China dyan, paano naagaw yan ng Japan sa kanila? Explain nyo nga sa akin. By invasion in 1938 and 1939. Accordingly. At ito po ay sealed by the series of conventions from Cairo in 1943 that declared that all territories stolen by Japan from China, all shall be restored to China. That is the ruling in the meeting of Roosevelt, Churchill, and Chiang Kai-shek. Ibig mo sabihin, mas matalino ka kay Roosevelt, Carpio, Esguerra? Ibig mo sabihin, mas matalino ka kay Roosevelt at kay Churchill at kay Chiang Kai-shek. Hoy! Bumalik ka sa UST, Gera, mag-aral ka pa. Mayroon ka pang gatas sa labi. Huwag ka nang lumabas on the air, nakakahiya ka eh. At ito ay na-reiterate sa Potsdam Conference ng 1945. At ito ay ni-renounce ng Japan sa San Francisco Conference ng 1951. Pero dahil disinvited po ang dalawang China sa San Francisco, wala sila doon para tanggapin yun. At the Republic of China received the territories stolen from them and turned over to Japan sa Treaty of Taipei in 1952. Sa Republic of China, pero all the way to the UN General Assembly, Resolution 5728 ng 1971, recognizing the People's Republic of China as the legitimate representative to the United Nations under a one China policy and successor of interest of the Republic of China. Yan po ang history. No? At that is how, no matter what we do, let us whine to death about water cannons, about green lasers. Let us complain and declare all the Chinese persona non grata. Wala ho mangyayari sa ganyang klaseng argumentation. Bakit? Dahil hindi po pwedeng i-enforce ang UNCLOS, mga kabansa, to the South China Sea. I am sorry, with all due respect to Malaysia, Brunei, even Indonesia and Taiwan and Vietnam. Wala tayong pakialam dyan, but only to the extent na papayag ang China. Again, why? Because that is their domestic sea. Napalalunan nila yan sa gera, at yan, in other words, by history, at yan ay isinulat sa mga tratado. In other words, international law. Preceding UNCLOS. Naintindihan nyo na. Ngayon, ang sovereign rights cannot protrude, hindi pwedeng tumagos sa teritoryo, sa domestic sea. And as long as China is enforcing its sovereignty in the South China Seas, wala tayong magagawa dyan. Kung katigasan ng ulo, ang ating paiiralin.
Yes, yan
Yan
po,
ang
no?
problema.
Yan po. Thank you po, Kaado, no, for that very, very, very detailed discussion, very detailed with sources, with proof, with historical sources na pwede niyo pong sarili po ninyong ma-research. Pwede niyo pong i-post po the pictures as we have shown. Send an email din po to and then tingnan niyo po yung ating Asian Century na kasi nandun na po yung lahat, Asian Century na article with Kaado, no, entitled Antonio Carpio Escalates Lies in Esquerra Podcast. So yun po yung the big picture, no. So moving forward, I think yung kailangan po talaga natin i-laser focus ang diplomatic solution. Pero diplomatic solution should be pushed by diplomats. Ano po yung mga sinasabi ng diplomats natin right now? Let's read. Ito po yung sinabi po ni Special Envoy to China from the Philippines, Teddy Boy Locsin. Ito po ay galing po sa isang article po na kino-quote po ni JV Ercito. Let's read. Strength in numbers, Ejercito calls on right-thinking nations to defy China's 10-line claim. So, yung sinabi po ng diplomat Dapat naghanap ng diplomatic solution. Miss you guys, JV, but the right-thinking nations won't stand by us in a fight if China tried to make that map a reality in our neck of the waters. Trust me on this. They'll want to bleed China dry in our country as the battlefield farthest from themselves. So, eksakto naman. Totoo naman. Na papahinaan po niya ang China, papahinaan natin ang China for the benefit of the United States with Filipino lives. Sinabi na po niya, derechahan. Derechahan sinabi niya. Magkakaubusan yung Pilipinas, magkakamatayan yung Pilipinas para humina yung China. Let's do the bleeding. Pero yung ito pa, let me, let me, kasi ito talaga yung pinpoint talaga. Let's do the bleeding on our own national behalf. We have no responsibility to cowards. We're good for a fight on our own behalf and it is coming and we will be alone. But so what? But so what? Ano naman? Kaya namin makipaggera. We were alone in World War II until the curtain was coming down on our burning capital. Why I voted for Ukraine? I saw our future there. Lauded, universally sympathized global ally, but fighting alone. So gusto niya po talaga, literal na sinabi na po niya na okay lang na maging Ukraine ang Pilipinas. Literal, yan na po. Please, September 1 na tweet po yan. Literal na sinabi niya na okay lang na maging Ukraine ang Pilipinas. Literal na sinabi niya. Yan po yung, I'm just quoting. It's okay. But so what? We were alone in World War II. That's why I voted for Ukraine. I saw our future. Yun po ang future po natin with Teddy Boy Locsin's guidance. So, yun po yung delikado kasi sila na po okay lang na magkagera sa Pilipinas. Yun po yung, so what? Sinusowat lang po ang gera. So what? Simatayin yung Pilipino. Okay lang. So what? Ano naman? I'll be coloring this konti. So what? Pupunta naman ako US. So what? Kayo naman yan. May assets ako sa US. So what? Pilipino naman yan. May citizenship na ako. Oh. So what? Ano naman? Pilipinas lang yan eh. Kayo lang yan eh. Mga Pinoy lang yun na namamali mo sa mga kotse namin eh. Yun po ba yung gusto po ninyong sabihin, ano? Teddy Boy Locsin? Mga gasgasin lang, gusgusin lang po kami na nag-aaral lang po sa public elementary school. Mga namamalimos, mga 9 to 5, ganun lang po, sinusowat lang po tayo, no? That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the main problem. So what if the Philippines do engage in a war, in a destructive war that will destroy life, liberty, and property? Diba? So, Kado, please, this outrageous statement.
That's why when I heard that Teddy Boy Locsin was designated by the Americans, hindi pala, by Bobo Marcos as our special envoy to China, sabi ko, another mistake. Another mistake. Pabalikin na lang natin si Teddy Boy sa London where he can perfect his British accent, no? Pero ito si Teddy Boy, panahon pa ito ni Cory Aquino, nananabutahin na ito. At noong nasa embassy ako sa Washington DC, nagkasagupaan kami nito. Dahil nagsigawan kami nito sa corridor ng Madison Hotel sa Washington DC. Dahil sa isang disagreement over a sentence in the speech that Cory would be delivering sa Congress. And by the way, mga kabansa, ito si Teddy Boy Locsin ang nagdala kay Mark Malloch Brown to serve as the public relations handler of Mrs. Aquino during the snap elections. At si Mark Malloch Brown po, ngayon, ang chairman at president ng Smartmatic. So, dyan yung makikita na itong mga traidor sa bayan ay hanggang ngayon ay nanggugulo pa. Ilang taon na po patay si Cory Aquino. Pero itong mga taong ito, si Teddy Boy Locsin, si Mark Malloch Brown, si Smart Matic, ay nandiyan pa at naglalason pa ng kaisipan ng karamihan ng Pilipino. Pero kung gusto yung makinig kay Teddy Boy, okay lang. Kung gusto yung makinig kay JB Ejercito, kung gusto nyo makinig sa mga jinggoy at unggoy dyan sa Kongreso at Senado, bahala kayo. Pero ngayon pa lamang sinasabi ko na, sarado na ho ang solusyon sa South China Sea kung i-invoke natin ang UNCLOS. Ito po ang solusyon na nakikita ko. Bakit? Hindi ho papayag ng China dyan na tayo masunod They consider that their domestic sea. Sovereignty ang claim. We consider up to a certain point our 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone, which is only sovereign rights. Hindi pwede po tayong lumakdaw. No? Magpasalamat na nga tayo at pinababayaan ang mga resupply missions natin sa Pag-asa at sa Ayungin Shoal. No? Pero wag na raw under Chinese terms po yan. Hindi tayo pwede magdala ng permanent fixture dyan sa Ayungin. Dahil Ayungin is not subject to sovereignty. Yan po ay classified mismo ng arbitral ruling na pinagmamalaki nila as a low tide elevation. So hindi kayo pwedeng mag-build dyan. Pag-asa pwede po dahil rock yan. And we're claiming it as an island. Pero it is outside of our EEC. And it has been disqualified to be part of an archipelago and our regime of islands. So, ano pa ang solusyon mo dyan, Tariela? Ano pa ang solusyon mo dyan, Carpio? In-adjust mo, Carpio, itong Republic Act 9522 to conform to UNCLOS instead of having UNCLOS conform to our treaty limits. Sino ngayon ang traidor? You were the ponente of that Supreme Court decision. Ikaw ang sumulat ng desisyon. Sabihin mo ngayon sa akin. So ano ang proposed solution? Pagdating po sa South China Sea, specifically Spratly Islands, and our claimed exclusive economic zones west of the Philippines, we cannot resort to UNCLOS. So kailangan po, umalis na tayo sa mindset natin about UNCLOS applications west of the Philippines. No? Kalimutan na muna natin yung exclusive economic zone west of the Philippines. No? Dahil yan po, uulitin ko, is considered by China as a domestic sea. Alright. Okay. Pangalawa, after getting out of the UNCLOS and EEZ mindset, i-amend natin ang ating baselines law accordingly. Matagal na pong pinaglalaban ni Francis, another Associate Justice, Francis Handelesa, at ni isang political expert, geopolitical expert na si Melissa Loha, na i-amend natin, i-confirm natin ang ating baselines law back to the 1898 treaty limits. One, number two, including the polygon under PD 1596. And lastly, Sabah, which is reserved in our laws to be appropriated later. Nasa batas po natin yan na hindi natin inaabandona ang ating claim to Sabah. So i-adjust natin ang ating batas. Because right now, our laws is good for nothing when it comes to the western side of the Philippines. It will not apply. Nawalan pa tayo ng teritoryo as I have shown you in the chart earlier. Pangatlo, and I hope Bobo Marcos and his agents dyan sa PCOO are listening. You have to renounce or set aside the arbitral award at the very least as a sign of good faith. Yan po ang ginawa ni Duterte. Kaya ang dami nating probinsyo na nakuha sa China. Ngayon, ano ba nakuha natin sa China under Marcos? Lampas na isang taon, wala pa akong naalalaman kundi yung mga projects na tinutuloy ng China yan. Yan po. And then finally, mga kabansa, let us engage China. Let us engage China in a conversation about historic rights, leading to agreements with China. Just as Duterte arrived at agreements with China. Sa konsepto, eto kayong mga DFA, kayong mga sumusweldo sa gobyerno, dyan sa Department of Foreign Affairs, o kayong mga bayarang, mga jukebox scholars, tawag ni Mentong, at tawag ko naman geopolitical karaoke ng Amerika. Pakinggan niyong mabuti itong konsepto na ito. Leading to agreements in condominium or joint sovereignty over areas in the South China Sea that we are claiming. Whether for sovereignty or sovereignty rights. Bakit sinabi ko yung sovereignty? Dahil yung pong treaty limits natin, ating treaty limits, also conflicts, according to the Treaty of Paris, also conflicts with the historic right of China. Delineation.
Yes, Kado, no?
And sovereignty right. So yan po, it's a new concept in international law called condominium or joint sovereignty. Sinimula na po ni Duterte yan. And this is an example po dyan, kung i-research ninyo, is the agreement between East Timor, Timor-Este, Timor-Leste, and Australia. Ayan, mga kabansa.
Okay, Mentong, thank you for that information na, again, is clear-cut na umiiwas po sa pagwasak ng ating bansa. Ito po ay, of course, pinakamaikling solution ay diplomatic solution. Pinaka-safe na solution, diplomatic solution. Hindi po katulad po nitong envoy po natin, special envoy po natin mismo, nagsabi na so what, magkakagera. Again, may comment po dito, di ba envoy siya sa China, bakit ganyan statement ni Locsin, sabi ni Lenny Fermin. So what statement? Nico John Servano, Filipino officials are so quick to talk about war, it's scary. They're like undisciplined barking dogs. Yun nga, bigla makipagbanatan ka agad. At tapang-tapang mo. Kung tapang ka, tatakbo ang Amerika ka lang naman. Ako nga, sa tingin mo makakatakbo tayo. Yung mga walang pamasahe. Di pa nga ako nakakasakay ng aeroplano Paano tayo makakatakas niyan? Makipaglaban tayo. Tayo yung mga may iwan dito. May mga walang asset sa ibang bansa ang may iwan dito. Mapipilitan makipaggera. Samantalang sila, ay, alis na tayo dito, siguro pupunta sila sa ibang bansa, tulungan niyo po kami, kawawa naman po kami. Pero uuwi sila sa bahay nila sa Amerika, uuwi sila sa bahay nila sa UK, may mga bahay-bahay na po yan, may mga bank account na po yan. Sa atin po sa mga Pilipino, ilan po sa atin ang may mga bank account sa UK, no? Kaya na pong manirahan sa ibang bansa. May mga citizenship na rin po. That's the problem. That's the problem. They have their own safety. Guaranteed. Kaya ang bilis nila magsalita ng ganito, no? So, let's move on kasi
Josh,
nikakainta.
uh,
Yes, yan. Please,
yeah,
Daniel.
Josh, these people are insane. They're war freaks, no? And in case you haven't noticed, 60 pesos is the price of rice. And Sas was talking about yung diversionary foreign policy. Na they're creating an external enemy, these senators, these politicians, so that we will forget about their incompetence when it comes to domestic issues. And we should not be emotionally manipulated and be confused by these senators.
Yes, exactly. Meron tayong dito galing sa 24 oras kagabi, ano. I'll just flash that right now. Kasi ito po yung katotohanan na dapat harapin ng ating mga senador, ng ating presidente, executive branch, ng ating gobyerno, buong gobyerno. Diesel up to 14.35 liters. 9 consecutive weeks. Sunod-sunod na pagtaas ng presyo ng gasolina, ng diesel. Gasoline up to 9.65 per liter. Yan po ang totoo. Totoo, yan po ang katotohanan. Hindi po yung nakipag-away tayo sa ibang bansa para to plead China dry, para humina yung China. Hindi po. Dito tayo dapat mag-concentrate. At yung kapamilya po natin na hindi na po makabili ng bigas. Nasa probinsya po, ang hindi po makaluwas. Ang mahal na po ng ano. Punta po akong Alabang last week. 140. Star Mall hanggang Alabang. That's point to point. Pero still, bakit ganun? Ano? Lahat po ng Grab at taxi driver na nakausap ko, lahat po ng jeepney driver na nakausap natin, umaaray na po sa diesel at gasolina. Yan po ang katotohanan ng Pilipinas. Yan ang dapat nating intindihin. Hindi yung makipag-away tayo sa ibang bansa. Tapos yung mga diplomat natin gusto ng gera. Nanging diplomat ka pa. Sana naging general ka na lang. Paano? Pag general, kailangan nandito ka sa Pilipinas pagkagera na eh. That's a problem, no? So, nagkakainitan na po, no? So, let's move on, no? Ito, kaling kay Mentong, no? Brian Berletic on Telegram. We have 5 minutes na lang pala, no? Let's make this quick. US creeping military presence along China's periphery. US seeks to open new port 200 kilometers from China's island province of Taiwan. That's us. Meron pong, yun pa, yung US daw gusto daw mag-open ng port sa norte, sa may Batanes. Sending military aid to Taiwan. The ACE Doctrine, yung inuuna na po yung mga armas, aircraft, personnel. And then the US is using nations in the region including the Philippines as proxies against China. Yun po, diretsahan. Tayo po ang maging Ukraine ng Asia. Pinipilit po ni Teddy Boy Locsin, literal. Yun na po yun. Yun lang po yun. Hindi ko alam kung anong gusto niyong sabihin ko, no? Kasi yun po yung literal na sinabi po niya. Nagre-react lang po tayo, no? So, another would be, ito, East Vietnam, Vietnamese parcel. So, this is from 2018. So, ito nga, Vietnamese also is laying a claim in the Spratly Islands. Na yun nga, dahil nga sa mismanagement ng ating claims ay wala na, nagkanda, let's not say kanda watak-watak na yung claim natin, ang pangit na po. And of course, yung bagong article po ni Kado, Unmasking Antonio Carpio Verdugo ng Kalayaan, please read. And of course, Ma'am Ana also, US, Japan, South Korea Trilateral Defense Pact and the Specter of Cold War 2.0 block confrontation. So nag-uumpisa na po kasi yung mga investor. So wala pa pong economic damage ng kasi pag tayo po yung nabanatan ng fishing ban katulad po import ban, export ban, no? Yari ang Pilipinas. And of course, doon sa Taiwan, nagsasalita na rin sila. Billionaire vows to stop Taiwan from becoming next Ukraine. Kasi natatakot na po sila eh. Yung Taiwan government mismo, bumibili daw ng Taiwan ng mga armas sa United States. Well, bumibili or binibigay basta yung mayaman ng gumagawa ng armas sa United States. Samantalang other side of the world, Saudi Arabia to teach 2 Chinese classes weekly in secondary school. So nakikita natin yung pagbagsak na po ng petrodollar kasi yung Saudi Arabia and the United States na relationship ay nawawala na po at yung Saudi na po mismo ang pupunta sa China na focus. And then tayo gusto pa natin kumapit sa US, no? And then this Putin backs teaching Chinese in Russian schools, of course yun. Again, Russia and China kasi yun nga the BRICS movement na marami na po mag-add na po sila ng 14 or 11 other countries. And Indonesia rubbishes Pentagon's joint statement on China and Russia. So Jakarta stress is not in Jakarta, Indonesia not aligned status and said it seeks good ties with all countries. Yan yung totoo na all countries. Kasi pag hindi, mag-appoint ka ng naghahanap ng gera katulad nito, no? Kapag gusto mo talaga na ay independent ka, dapat yung naghahanap ka ng balanse na tama. Hindi yung parang, ito yung statement ni Teddy Boy Locsin, parang ina-expect na po niya na mamaya magkakagera na eh. So, very jarring. Tapos yan po yung special envoy natin to China. Yan yung diplomat natin to China. So, let's see kung ano po yung mangyayari, no. I'm informed also na dapat natin tayo mag raffle, ano. So ipakita ko lang po yung raffle right now and then mag-email lang po kayo kapag merong we lost yung connection natin with Kaado pero maganda po yung mga statement po niya, no. So let's see. Mag-roll na po tayo. Congratulations po agad. Yung first book po ay Poverty po ata. Let's see. At congratulations na po kay Gilberto Joaquin. So, I think nanalo na rin po siya dati. So, let's see kung tiga saan siya. From Las Piñas. Wow. Congratulations po. And check ko po kung Poverty of Power po or yun nga. I-double check natin kung dumoble or okay. And then for Arnis
Josh?
book. Yes.
Ka,
Sige, after nito, congratulate lang natin si Felicito Bautista. Yan. Yes, ka Daniel.
yeah, Kado is doing the job of the DFA. You know, yung concept, yung introduce na yung joint sovereignty or condominium.
Yes.
That is something that they should look into. Very interesting.
Yun nga, Kado is the true diplomat. Yun ang tunay na diplomat, no? Na naghahanap ng compromise, ng solution, ng non-aggressive solution that will not lead to war. Not like other people, ano, na we have presented. Na literal na sinabi na nire-report lang po natin. So it's 10:01. Thank you po sa lahat. Ang dami pong i-read ko lang po. Rachel Go, 7,000 yen. Thank you very much po. Ka Rachel, para Consueldo. So sad na nangyayari sa Pilipinas pero pinapalaban. Ang hirap mong mahalin Pilipinas, ano? Kado, how come Taiwan have their own elections? Yun nga, separate po siya pero one China. Charlie Cheng is a show not wasting Filipino lives. That's true. Ano lang siya well, if we base that on the statement of Locsin, it is. So, ano na tayo? Pam Decena, hi po. Wala po yung book ko. We will double check that. Sad kasi tatakbo sila sa mga assets nila. Yes, sa ibang bansa. Nandun na po yung mga pera po nila, no? Tapos tayo, wala po tayong US accounts. Wala po tayong UK accounts. Tapos di pa nga po ako, again, di po ako nakasakay ng aeroplano. Never. So, Sidila Maligad, kailan kaya makakarma ang Amboy? Sana naman maliwanagan na lang sila. Kahit hindi, yun yung po yung karma nila. Mapahiya po sila at the very most. At maliwanagan sila na sana ayaw nila ng gera dito sa Pilipinas. BJ Wakin, yung price, I will double check that again. This is, we are 10:02. Nagbabasa na lang po ako ng comments. Thank you po sa lahat. And then, let's pray for Mentong. Bagamat yun nga, palag na. Puro mo, Amboy, walang inutupag gera yata ang gusto sa bagsak. Well, yun na nga po sinabi. So what? Yun po ang statement po na makukuha natin this episode, no? So what kung magkaagera sa Pilipinas? So what? Bakit po kung ipag-away tayo sa China, anong makukuha natin? Magmumura ba ang bilihin natin? That's true. Para mapatay ibang Pilipino, konti ang population natin. Dahil sa WPS. Na yun nga, pwede natin i-solve ng diplomatic solution with what Kaado said. Well, wala naman tayo sa wala naman tayo sa pwesto. So, on behalf of Mentong and Kaado, uunlad ba ang Pilipinas kung makipaggera at wasak ang Pilipinas? Tutulong ba ang Amerika o masenso ang kabuhayan natin? So, nag-ialay na po natin yung United States for how many decades right now. Pinalakas po nila yung mga kalaban po nila. Yung Japan na kalaban nila, pinalakas nila. Diba? Yung Germany na kalaban nila, pinalakas nila. Although ngayon, sunod-sunuran yung Germany at kawawa sila sa power nila. Well, that's it for our time. Daniel, can you say goodbye to our audience?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me on the show, and I hope our audience has learned a lot today, especially with Kado's presentation. No, that was such an eye-opener for a lot of our viewers. Thank you. And
Yes,
also pray for Mentong so that he'll recover faster and he'll focus on the mission.
Yun. And then, thank you ka Daniel. And then, add ko lang to, pahabol natin. Habol natin. Kasi nakakatawa na to ako kay Hans eh. Kay Joel Villanueva, just like in the arbitrary ruling, we had a commanding and convincing victory against China. So, arbitrary is random. So, based on the random ruling, arbitral po siguro yung gusto niya sabihin. Kasi sila po ay naka West Philippine Sea na t-shirt dun sa FIBA. Pero wala po tayong batas na nagde-describe po kung ano po ang West Philippine Sea. At sila po ang nagpo-push, So, sana ayusin din po nilang kanilang English also. So, thank you. That's all our time po. Mentong, get well. We'll include you in our prayers before po kayo. Thank you. And then, sana hindi po tayo magkagera. I hope I see you. And then, kung magkagera, sana katabi ko si Teddy Boy Locsin sa ating foxhole, sa ating trenches. At hindi po siya lumipad patungong Amerika. So what? So what kung magkagera? Yun po ang huli nating statement. Thank you, and then let's pray for each other and our country. Thank you.